Welcome once again. It is Man to Man Show with Tim Brown, Vince the Voice Bailey, and this show again designed all about you men, the issues, the challenges, bad kids, health, relationships, finances. Hey, we want to discuss it all, and it's very easy. All you have to do is send your questions in to us at help@mantomanshow.com, help@mantomanshow.com, and our resident expert here, Mr. Tim Brown, who gives so much good advice. We're going to tackle it and hopefully help a lot of young men, right. Older men too, because you know all of us need a little something and need an outlet to get it out, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Fellas don't talk. We need to talk about it. It's a brother's wrote us right here, Tim. He's been on this job for 8 years, went to school for this, on his job for 8 years, has been passed up, Tim, on the promotions. People don't give him respect at the job. He wants to quit, but he knows he shouldn't quit. How should he deal with this situation with his job? He's got a family. What does he do?
Right. The jobs are definitely one of those scenarios that pretty much everyone deals with, because as adults, even as youngsters, we have to work at some point in time.
Right.
So you're going to have these different scenarios that you deal with. One thing that I will say, well, the first thing that I will say about that, you know, not feeling as though you've been respected on the job, being passed up for promotions, and I'm going to give you, you know, a bit of biblical perspective on this, and the fact that when we are on a job, you know, we have to realize that we're on a job for a purpose, and God puts us in places for a reason. So the first thing that we have to do is try to understand, why are we at this job? The paycheck that we get on the job is a bonus. That's a benefit, but it goes beyond that. So for me personally, I always try to ask God what my purpose is for being somewhere. If I have a relationship with someone, friends, because I personally don't just have casual people that I hang out with. I don't spend a lot of time with people casually just because. There's usually a purpose for it. And I seek that purpose and that understanding. And the same thing applies to a job, because you just never know who on that job needs to be engaged with your personality or with the things that you know. They may need someone that has the strength and the fortitude that you have
to deal with
to be able to deal with it. You know, because some people aren't able to deal with that. You know, they get passed over for a promotion and they feel like the world is coming to an end.
Right.
And you just never know how they may choose to deal with it. So understand that you're important on your job, whether people acknowledge it or not. And you have to realize that there's a reason that you're there, and it goes far beyond your comfort. It goes far beyond you being promoted. And that's one of the first things that I would say. Because if you change jobs, who is it to say that it won't be the same thing in a different place?
And you've had 8 years put in at this other place already.
You've had 8 years.
Wow.
And that's what a lot of people do. You see people that jump from job to job and they're saying, oh, these people are crazy. You know, the people around me are crazy. My boss is crazy. You get another job. The boss is still crazy in a different place. Because it isn't about the boss. It isn't about the people. It's about you and the way you deal with these situations that you're in. You have to change your perspective on how you deal with it and get to a point where you realize that no matter what they think, I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. And when you're focused on what you're supposed to do, you're going to begin to see things open up. You're going to see things take place that you didn't expect. Because I'll share with you that I worked somewhere at one point in time, and I got to a point where I almost hated this person. And that is so outside of my nature. You know, for a while, I got to a point where I almost hated this person. So for about 2 or 3 days, I had to go into some intense prayer for God to help me deal with that, because I didn't want to be feeling like that toward this person. And the point, after I did that, I began to see so many things change. It got to a point where they would ask me what I wanted for lunch in the office. You know, and I just began to have so much favor from that person that it was unreal. Nothing like I had ever seen before, but it was because I asked God to change my attitude about what was going on so that I can deal with it better and not be so caught up in what they were doing as much as what I was doing and how I was handling the situation.
You know what's funny is sometimes the people that can cause you to feel that way, that you say that, I know they had to be terrible because Tim don't hate nobody.
Right.
But for somebody to make you feel, sometimes those persons are actually doing it as a test to see how far they can push you.
Absolutely.
They may see something coming up for you in your future, say, oh no, I need to knock him off his wagon, get him out of here, because that's for me and not for him, that kind of thing. It's tough out here sometimes. But also though, Tim, I have to say that, as I look at my resume, it was like 2 years here, 2 years there, 2 years there, 2 years there. And I was always looking for that next opportunity. Now I haven't worked a job now in, 15, 16 years, an actual job. But at the same time, for me, I don't know, it has its pros and cons of staying there, because if I would have stayed, say, at Comcast, I'd be almost a year 30 now, you know what I'm saying, or year whatever. I said, oh boy, I'd have a nice pension coming on, but then my life would have been totally different.
And I guess that goes to the practical side, because we do have to eat, you do want to grow and go up the ladder in your career. So what you should do, what I encourage is that if you enjoy what you do, and not enough people take advantage of the time, look at your job, aside from the spiritual aspect of it, look at your job as an opportunity for you to get paid to be trained to start your own business.
That's how I thought of it.
And that's what not enough people do that. You have the opportunity to learn how to run that same type of business that you're working for. So utilize that. You're getting a paycheck to be trained. Learn everything you can about it. Learn the logistics of getting things together, putting people, resources in place. Learn how the operation works from top to bottom as best you can. And always give your best no matter what. Because when you do that, it creates opportunities for you later on. So if you did decide that it was more than you could handle, now you're prepared, if you wanted to actually be able to try and do it on your own and not have to worry about them. But if you do stay focused on what you need to do, because someone sees everything you do. No matter how much of a struggle it is, your boss has a boss. And there's someone around there that's looking at what you're doing. They see the struggle that you're having, they see the effort that you're giving, and they see your fortitude. So don't let someone that is jealous of you, because that's usually what it is. They're either jealous or intimidated by your work ethic. They're intimidated by your ability and capabilities, and they feel like you're someone that may take their job, especially if they have a higher position than you do. So stay focused on doing what you need to do. And you're going to see again how things will open up for you. Even if it doesn't happen when you want it to, it's going to happen.
Let those haters be your motivators, sometimes they say. Well, that's why he is the expert. It's Tim Brown. It's Man to Man Show. Get your questions in. help@mantomanshow.com. help@mantomanshow.com. Got to take a pause for the calls. We'll be right back in just a moment. And we want to talk about some health, Tim. Brothers that don't want to get a checkup. We'll be back with you in just a second.